Picture this Melania Trump, the woman who's mastered the art of silent side eyes and mysterious exits, just got absolutely torched by Michelle Obama on live TV. No warning, no filter, just a truth bomb so fierce, even Trump's spray tan might have taken a day off. You remember that awkward moment back in 2016 when Melania accidentally borrowed a whole chunk of Michelle's speech? Yeah, that one. Recently, someone asked Michelle if she had any sympathy for Melania over the backlash she faced. Michelle calmly goes, "Yeah, that was tough. Tough? That's it." No dragging, no long rant, just a politely iced response with enough class to burn a whole reputation down. In First Lady code, that's basically, bless her heart, but girl, seriously? And then Michelle shifts gears and starts praising Hillary Clinton. You know, the leader with the guts and the grace to keep cracking that glass ceiling. Meanwhile, Melania's name? Nowhere. Not even a casual mention. Not even a nice dress. At this point, Melania's probably furiously typing into Google, "How to clap back with dignity after a stealth roast by Michelle Obama." Sadly, there are no results. Just broken dreams and a lot of borrowed speeches. But wait, it gets better. Michelle even brings up how she met Melania after the election and gave her some advice. Sweet, right? She says they talked about the importance of family and creating safe spaces. Translation, don't mess everything up. Then she casually drops the biggest bomb. This democracy isn't about party lines. It's about decency. Boom, done. No mic drop needed. Just decades of grace landing like a velvet hammer. Meanwhile, Melania, who's spent years building her image around quiet disapproval and designer sunglasses, is now spiraling, publicly. It's like watching a high society mannequin malfunction in real time. What makes it so iconic is how Michelle didn't even raise her voice. She didn't need to. That's the difference between a real icon and someone still figuring out how not to plagiarize a speech. Before you go Googling how to recover from a public First Lady roast, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, because next time Michelle speaks, trust me, you do not want to miss it. First, let's take a deep breath and remember who we're talking about here. Melania Trump, the First Lady who never quite wanted to be First Lady. I mean, you could practically hear her inner monologue every time a camera caught her standing next to Donald. Do I really have to be here again? With him? Instead of pretending she cared, Melania perfected her signature look. The cold, disinterested stare of a woman who'd rather be absolutely anywhere else. Her vibe was less First Lady of the United States and more First Lady of delayed international flights. Now, flashback to when Michelle Obama, ever the graceful queen, told Oprah in a CBS interview that her team offered to help Melania with the White House transition. That's right, Michelle offered her phone number, her advice, her experience. A literal First Lady hotline. Melania's response? Radio, silence. And now, she's firing back. Through a press release, of course. Because Melania doesn't do direct confrontation. She does press statements with the warmth of an Arctic breeze. And honestly, who could blame her? For 4 years, she stood frozen in the world's most awkward marriage, pretending to support a man who causes drama just by breathing. She smiled through it like a woman auditioning for the role of, "I'm definitely not into this, but the paycheck is good." And who can forget that moment? The speech. The infamous 2016 Republican National Convention speech, where Melania proudly stepped up to the podium and proceeded to deliver Michelle Obama's words, almost verbatim. This wasn't inspiration. This wasn't coincidence. This was a full-on copy-paste, add a rhinestone situation. Melania's speechwriters, if we can even call them that, apparently thought, hey, Michelle's words sound smart. Let's just tweak a few lines, maybe change a comma, and hope nobody notices. Spoiler alert, everybody noticed. Michelle, you work hard for what you want in life. Your word is your bond. Melania, you work hard for what you want in life. Your word is your bond. It was like watching someone try to steal your car, drive it past your house, and wave while pretending they've never seen you before. Yet somehow, Melania spun that moment into 4 years of chilling in the East Wing, designing furniture and side-eyeing democracy. And now, years later, when Michelle Obama delivers a calm, graceful critique on live TV, offering support and reminding us what leadership and decency look like, Melania responds with her usual frosty silence, followed by a delayed PR hissy fit. So here we are, Michelle's throwing shade with elegance, Melania's still Googling how to be relatable, and the rest of us, we're just here for the show. Nobody noticed? Please. Melania's speech wasn't subtle. It was riddled with entire passages ripped straight from Michelle Obama's 2008 DNC speech. It was like a karaoke version of Michelle's iconic lines, but without even bothering to change the melody. And before you say, maybe it was an accident? No, this wasn't a couple of stolen phrases. This was full-blown theft. Melania delivered Michelle's words with zero attempt to hide it. It was like someone grabbing the biggest slice of cake at your party and claiming they baked it. Melania's excuse? Oops, didn't mean to take Michelle's speech. It just really resonated with me. Sure, Melania. It resonated so much that you just copied it word for word. No twist, no personal touch, just straight-up plagiarism. Her team tried to spin it as a coincidence, but there was no attempt at paraphrasing, just blatant stealing. It was a scandal that made headlines for days and embarrassed a woman who's built her persona on grace and elegance. This wasn't just a simple mistake, it was a disaster that made everyone wonder how Melania even ended up in the White House. Then, of course, Michelle casually dropped the bomb on live TV, serving the world with a dose of grace, intelligence, and fierce advocacy. And Melania? Still pretending like the cake was hers all along? So, Michelle Obama throws a little sarcastic shade at Melania. Nothing too crazy, just a quick jab at the Trump administration. But of course, Melania loses it. And by loses it, I mean she takes the high road. If that road leads straight into passive-aggressive hell, gone were the days of poise and grace. Instead, we saw a side of Melania no one ever thought existed. It was like watching someone strut into a room with the confidence of a supermodel, only to trip and faceplant into a pile of dog poop. When Melania was faced with the tiniest bit of public shade, what did she do? She melted into a puddle of petty. She could have been a grown-up, but no. She chose to go full high school cafeteria drama. Her response? A series of passive-aggressive leaks to the press. Classic Melania. She wasn't about to have an actual verbal showdown with Michelle Obama, who, by the way, is a literal icon. Melania's idea of conflict resolution was probably sending a cheerful, happy thoughts tweet, blocking the person on Instagram and calling it a day. And the best part? The woman who once wore a jacket that literally said, "I don't care," was suddenly furious over a harmless jab. But instead of confronting it head-on, she just sent her people to leak passive-aggressive nonsense. Like trying to fight with a feather duster, soft, ineffective, and way too embarrassing. Melania Trump always made it clear that being First Lady wasn't her thing. She wasn't here to lead causes or champion any real change. Instead, her role was more about being a symbol of wealth and privilege, never engaging with anything that required more than a well-placed smile. We all know the infamous moments where Melania's Be Best campaign on cyberbullying clashed with her husband's Twitter feuds. It was like Melania's platform was as empty as a frosted cake, sweet on the outside but lacking any substance. Then Michelle Obama took a jab at her, and let's be real, it hit hard. Michelle didn't even have to do much. Melania's reaction, on the other hand, was all over the place. Instead of a calm, collected response, she went full-on passive-aggressive, clutching her pearls and pretending to be above the drama. It was like watching a supermodel who spent years airbrushed to perfection, only to reveal a real face that was way less polished. Melania wasn't a political powerhouse. She was just a mannequin beside the most controversial president in history, never stepping up to make any lasting contributions. So, when Michelle Obama made her sarcastic remark on live TV, it wasn't just a critique. It was a direct hit at Melania's weak public persona. Melania's response? To pretend she was above it all, running off to her private jet like nothing happened. But deep down, we all knew she was exposed for what she truly was. a figurehead with no real substance. Michelle Obama didn't need to say much. Melania did all the work for her. In the end, it was clear. Melania was out of her depth, and Michelle showed us exactly what it looks like when someone with grace and substance takes on the empty world of Melania Trump. To wrap things up, it's clear that when it comes to the world of first ladies, Melania Trump's reign was nothing short of a spectacle, and Michelle Obama's subtle shade was just the icing on the cake. But as we've seen, the most powerful women stand tall, not through silence or passive aggression, but by using their voice and their actions to create real change. So, if you enjoyed this take on the Melania-Michelle saga, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell icon so you never miss another juicy breakdown. Catch you in the next one.